Going to the cloud. All right. So balance may be trickier. Oh, I got the little fuzzies from the tree all over me already. Gosh, if it's not dog hair, it's something else. Find a comfortable seat. You might want to block if you have one to sit on, and I think we'll do some ab stuff towards the end with a block. So block, a book, something that's about 4 inches high or so usually works nice. We're gonna sit up tall. I can't believe how sticky that fuzzy stuff is. So I have my little sidekick Emma with me. And having the hips elevated actually kind of helps allow the knees to come down, and it makes your hips kind of feel a little bit more open, because we're always, when we're sitting, our hip crease the angle of our hip crease is smaller. We have, our knees are higher up. So if we can get the knees down, it's a kind of a start for opening the hips and take some of the pressure off the hip flexors. So while we're sitting here, we can close our eyes or take a soft gaze. And then actually we're going to start bigger. So we're going to, almost like in a yoga nidra class, we're going to listen around us. We're going to kind of listen for the thing the farthest away. And then listen for something that's a little bit closer. So we're not judging the thing that we hear, we're just noticing. So you don't even have to know what it is. You can hear something and not have to label it. So something a little bit closer. Maybe something a little bit closer than that. Maybe you hear things in the room with you if you're in a room. If you're outside, maybe you listen to something that's maybe within like 10 feet of you. Or for the things that sound closer. And usually in a class, I'll say, listen for the person next to you's breathing or something just outside the room. But now we're listening even closer. See if there's things on your mat that you can hear. So maybe you have a little puppy nearby or something like that, and maybe you hear them. I can hear Emma breathe. Just kidding, I can't. But I could hear her laugh just now. And then maybe you can hear the sound of your own breath. And if it's quiet enough and you're focused enough, maybe you can hear the sound of your own heart beating. And then we'll take a second to check in with the body. See what bringing to the mat this afternoon. Any areas of tension, any excitement, kind of sensations that you're feeling. And then we'll start to lengthen and deepen the breath. So the breath comes in through the nose, and then we're bringing it all the way into the belly. The belly expands, and the chest rises. And then on the exhale, the chest lowers and the belly draws in. While you're sitting here, as we're grounding or centering for the beginning of class, notice any areas that maybe you're holding, any clenching, like the jaw, or contracting of muscles, like your biceps or your glutes or different things like that. See if you can just be. We'll start to add some movement here. We're going to take a side bend so the left arm comes up and over. And then back to center. Side bend to the left, right arm comes up and over. It's amazing how different those sides can feel. So we're going to move back and forth a couple times here. You move with your breath. You move double time. You could hold for a couple breaths on each side. So totally up to you. And then come back to center. We're going to move on to our hands and knees. And we will have our hands right below our shoulders and our knees right below our hips. We'll drop the belly low, bring the gaze forward. Inhale. Exhale, round. And then drop the belly low, bring your gaze forward, inhale. So we'll do just a few cat and cow moves here. My hot pants came home. And we're going to take a side bend here, looking over each hip and shoulder. Come through center and do the other side. Kind of doing another type of side bend, but more of thinking of like crunching in through one side of the body and allowing the other side to open. And then we'll move back into our center here, back to the center of our mat. We can extend the right leg behind us, tucking the toes under, pushing the heel back. Now, if your wrists are tender, you want to come down onto the forearms just to give your wrists a break. Go ahead and do that. And the ball of your right foot is touching the floor, the toes are curled under, and the heel is pressing back. We're going to come back towards the center just a little bit more here. So we're not pressing back anymore. We're more of a neutral here. And we're going to tap the right foot out to the right and then bring it all the way across the body, across the left leg, and tap down on the left side. You can even push back. So you're pressing back with that right heel and then move across the body, bring it all the way across, tap down. So the right leg is out to the right, and then cross over the body, tap the toes down, press the right heel back. We'll do one more time. Press out to the right, tap, over to the left, and draw that heel back. And then we'll come back to center. This time our right leg is hovering so that the toes are off the ground. We'll bend the right knee, and we're going to press the right foot up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to lower the right knee down almost to the floor and then press it back up towards the ceiling again, or sky, depending where you are. And then lower one more time. Excuse me. And then we'll press and hold it up towards the ceiling here. And then lower it down. Bring the knees together. Press the hips back for child's pose. So if your elbows and your forearms are on the floor, you can actually get kind of a shoulder stretch here too. Come back to our neutral point here, hips over the the knees. We're going to extend the left leg back with the toes tucked under, pressing that left heel back. So calf stretch, Achilles stretch. We'll then take the leg out to the left, tap down, bring it across to the right, tap the foot down and press the heel back. Come out to the left, tap down, back over to the right and press that heel back. And one more time, tap over to the left, tap over to the right, almost lost my balance and duffed it, and then press that heel back. Back to center, hovering that left leg, bend the left knee, and we're pressing that left foot up towards the sky, and then lower the left knee almost to the floor, and then press it back up. Lower almost to the floor, and one more time, press it up, and we'll hold. Good, and then bring that knee down. Come back again to child's pose. Okay, we'll move up to our tabletop. Tuck the toes under, fingers are wide. You can also do this on your forearms and be in dolphin pose, but we're gonna move into downward facing dog. So if you're on your forearms, you put your hips up and back for dolphin. If you are on your hands, then you're gonna push your hips up and back for down dog. And your knees can be as bent as you need to, especially these first few down dogs, because if you're, been hanging out or working or whatever, your hamstrings get pretty tight, as we probably all know, unless you're really flexible, and then in which case this is no problem for you. Bring your gaze up towards your hands. We're going to inhale to plank, and then exhale, down dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale to plank. We're rounded through the shoulders, so we're pushing our shoulder blades apart. And then exhale, down dog. One more time, come forward to plank. We can hold for a breath or 2 here. Emma's like, nope, I'm going into down dog. It's like, no, you're not, kid. And then down dog. Good. We're gonna bring our gaze up towards our hand. We're gonna inhale the right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, step it as far forward as you can. Join it with the left. Inhale all the way up to stand. Hands over the head. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Super, super. Inhale the arms up. Take a tiny back bend at the top if you want. And then exhale, bend the knees, fold forward. Almost fell over. Take your feet a little bit like 2 fist distance apart. That'll actually help with balance too. We're gonna inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. So from our hips to the top of our head, the crown of our head, it's one long line. So if you look like a rainbow, it's not so much of a long line. That's more of an arch there, or roundedness. So we want to be straight. And then we'll exhale and fold again. Want to tap the fingers down. We're going to place the fingers on the floor, and we're going to take a great big step back with the left foot and then the right. And we'll hold here in our plank for a moment. Inhale here. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to plank. Hold here for a moment. Still breathe. Smile if you can. And then exhale, down dog. Bring your gaze up towards your hand. Inhale the left leg up now. And exhale, step it as far forward as you can. Join it with the right. Inhale all the way up to stand. And exhale, hands to the heart. So we're in our mountain pose. Our feet are pulling our mat to the left and to the right. Inhale the arms up. We're going to exhale, take a side bend left. So you can take your left hand to your left hip and reach over to the left. Inhale back to the center, both hands up. Exhale, right hand to right hip. Left hand comes over, side bend to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. For fun, if you want, you can extend your arms out to the sides. You can start to straighten the legs. So this takes a little bit of core strength. Taking a couple breaths here, feeling the pull in the back of the legs. So see, Emma, if you can get your shoulders back a little bit and lengthen through your spine so it's very straight. Good. Lift up. Okay, exhale, fold. Place your fingertips down. We're going to take a big step back with the left foot. So here we're going to place our left hand down. Our right hand comes to our right thigh, and we're rolling our right shoulder open. So you're pressing into that right thigh, rolling your right shoulder up towards the sky. Good, and then untwist. We're going to step the left foot back up towards the right, and then inhale all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms up. Take a tiny back bend at the top. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, back to center. Side bend right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, so long, straight back. Exhale again and fold. Place the hands down, take a big step back with the right foot. Right hand stays on the floor as your left hand comes to your left thigh. Roll that left shoulder open. Taking a couple breaths here. So our right leg is very strong. Our thigh is reaching up towards the sky. We'll untwist. Step that right foot up to meet the left. And inhale all the way up to stand. 11-year-old rising up to stand, hair flinging through the air. She just bolts upright. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what to do. 30 years ago. Inhale the arms up. Tiny back bend if you want. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, center. Side bend right. Inhale, center. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And take the arms out to the sides. Good. Exhale and fold. Place the hands down. We're going to step back into plank. So here, we're in the top of a push-up. We're in plank, so you can lower the knees. Bend the elbows back to your sides. So what's happening is instead of like a push-up when your elbows go out to the sides, they brush back against your rib cage, your sides, and you lower down in one straight line. Hands are pressing into the mat, pulling your chest forward. Your hands isometrically move towards your hips. So they're not actually moving on the mat, they're just pulling backwards as you raise up into a tiny little baby cobra. And then exhale, lower. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. So our back of our neck is long, and then we'll push back into child's pose. We're going to inhale forward into a top of a push-up. So if you're on your knees and you want to be lifted, go ahead. So you can lower the knees and then lower down into your plank. If you're one straight line here and your knees are lifted, you're going to tilt forward onto your toes and then lower down. Your elbows in at your side, lower down slowly. Good. So now your hands pull isometrically back towards your hips. Your elbows come towards each other. Raise up into maybe a slightly bigger baby cobra. Keeping the back of the neck long, lower down. Push back, child's pose. Take a breath or two here. Inhale back up through your tabletop, tuck the toes, come into full plank or modified. So variation of plank is lowering the knees. You're going to push forward on your toes, elbows in at your side, lower all the way down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Good, we're gonna tuck the toes under, sit back on your heels, come up, interlace the fingers, figure eight the wrists. So if you'd rather sit on top of your feet, you can do it that way. If you want to get into the arches of your feet, you can tuck your toes and sit back on your heels. Now, this is very intense for some people. You can be up on your knees more. And then shake out the wrists. Okay. We're going to place our hands down on the floor here, and we're going to step the right leg as far forward as you can. So see if you can bring your right leg or your right foot to the outside of your right hand. And then step it back. You can take a brief child's pose. We'll come back into our tabletop, step the left foot to the left side of the left hand. The left, the left, the left. To the left, to the left. And then step it back. Child's pose. Come forward. Right foot steps forward. Now, if it's more comfortable to have your foot somewhere else, you can do that, but we want to get it as far forward as we can, as close to our hand as possible, and then step it back. Do one more on each side. Kind of like lizard pose. And then last left side, and step it back. Come up to tabletop, tuck the toes under, push the hips up and back for down dog. We're gonna inhale the right leg up towards the sky, and exhale, step it as far forward as you can. So keeping that right knee bent, you can attempt a version of Malasana or yogi squat. So you can do half Malasanas, which we are right now, or step the other foot up. So it's kind of like a sumo squat at this point. The hips are lifted. So I'll come to the side here so you can see. So it's just like that. So we're not taking a super bend to the knees, or we're not dropping our hips below our knees. Place the hands down, step the right leg back, and then the left, and lower all the way to the floor. Good. Baby cobra. The elbows are in at your side. So lifting up in baby cobra, the back of the neck stays long. We're going to float the hands. You can bring them out to the side. Taking a couple breaths here. My toenails are still on the floor, so still keeping the legs down. We're lifting up the upper body as high as we can with the back of the neck staying long. And then exhale. Lower all the way down. Turn your head to one side. You can take your hands back to cobra hands if you want, or we're lifting up again, but this time you can bring your hands towards your feet. So your fingers are pointed back towards your feet. You have the option to float the feet. Shoulder blades are rolling in towards each other. So you're opening through the heart, and the back of the neck is still staying long. So your gaze is just above, just in front of your mat on the ground here. And then lower down. You can rock your hips side to side. And then we'll come back, bring your hands back. You can bend your knees, reach back for your shins or your ankles or your feet. If you can reach, then your feet are flexed and you're pressing your feet into your hands or your ankles into your hands to lift up. So the back of the neck stays long still. You're lifting up as high as you can. Come on, press, Emma. Press your feet in. Hold on. There you go. What'd that feel like? Feel cool? And now lower all the way to the floor. Release your feet. You can windshield wiper the legs, kind of bring them side to side. You can rock the hips side to side. We're going to place the hands just below the shoulders, so kind of alongside the chest here. We're going to squeeze the elbows in towards the body, push up and back for child's pose. Inhale back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, push the hips up and back for down dog. On the next inhale, we raise our left leg up as high as we can. And then exhale, step it as far forward as we can, joined by the right. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. All right. We're going to inhale, drop the seat low here for chair. So you can have your feet 2 fist distance apart. You can have them touching. Touching kind of makes it harder balance-wise. But you want to have your feet and your knees in the same line. So we don't want to have your knees in and your feet out or anything like that. So we'll sit here for a moment, and then we're going to step out to the right. So step out and step back in. We're going to step to the left and step back in. We're going to step back with the right leg and step back in. Step back with the left. Woo, balance. And step back in. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to so that your upper body, your chest, your torso is supported by your thighs. So we'll place our hands on the floor here. We're going to step back with the right foot, and we're going to rotate the right heel down. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior 2. I was like, woo, balance. Okay, so the left knee is bent, the right leg is straight, and you're shifting your weight to the outside of that right foot. So you know how, Emma, yep, that's better. So you're lifting this arch, so your feet are on the ground, but you're not like having the arch flat against the floor. You're pressing into the outside edge of that right foot. And the left knee is bent. Woo, I almost just fell over now. This is kind of a power stance. Now, if you want to actually kind of create some engagement and maybe sweat a little, you pull your feet towards each other. Have that feeling of pulling them towards. Yeah, feel that? Emma's like shaking right now. We're going to flip the left palm up towards the sky. We'll lift it all the way up. The right hand comes to the thigh. or it can wrap behind your back. I was like, I can't see you. I don't know what's going on. You're doing great, Emma. We'll inhale back to center. Exhale, left forearm to left thigh. The right arm can come up and over. Even rotate so that the palm or the pinky of the right hand is facing down. One long line. So you can do like that. Good. And imagine that your right arm is so strong that you can push something with that hand. So it's not just a limp noodle hanging over your head. You want to have it strong. Okay. We'll inhale all the way up. We'll straighten that left leg and pivot so that you're facing the long end of your mat. So the feet are now parallel with the short edges of the mat. You can bring the hands to the hips now and fold forward. Place your hands on the floor. You can grab your ankles, your big toes. You can bring your feet as wide as you need to. We're going to come up to a flat back. So now our hands are directly beneath our face. We're going to place our left hand on the floor. The right hand can come to the sacrum or the low back. And we want to keep our hips level. So what starts to happen is when our right shoulder starts to rotate open, our hips shoot off to the right. So we want to keep them directly behind us and only rotate enough where your hips can still be level. So you're starting to open up your right shoulder to the right. Open up towards the ceiling or the sky. Keeping your hips centered. Good, and then untwist. Right hand goes beneath your face. Left hand comes to the sacrum or low back. And we're keeping the hips level as we rotate or roll our left shoulder open towards the ceiling. We'll untwist. We're going to bring the heels in, bend the knees, come up, goddess pose. So the feet and the knees are, again, pointed in the same direction. So if you look down at your knees, they should be kind of over part of your foot. So like when I look down, I can see my big toe, my second toe, and part of my third toe. If your knees are kind of over and you can't see any of your feet, then you might be a little bit too far forward with the thighs. Tucking the belly in and goddess arms. So they're strong arms and they're parallel with the floor. So we're going to inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms, reach up. Exhale, come back down into goddess. Inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, sit down into goddess. And 2 more times. Inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Exhale into goddess. Last time, inhale. Exhale. And we'll inhale up one more time. We're going to bring the arms out to the left and the right, and then parallel the feet. So we're in 5-pointed star. We'll lower the hands, and we'll step back up towards the front of our mat. Good. All right. We're going to inhale into chair. Take a breath or two here. Maybe sit a little lower. maybe a little bit lower. And then we're going to exhale and fold. Place the hands down. We're going to take a big step back with the left foot and rotate the left heel down. Cartwheel the arms up, warrior two. So again, the right knee is bent, the left leg is very straight, and that your weight is going to the outside of the left foot, the pinky toe edge, and you're bending into that right knee. Kind of relax the shoulders down, but the arms are still strong. You can even make muscle arms here, bicep curls, and then straighten the arms. Bicep curl, straighten the arms. We're going to flip the right palm up towards the sky, lift all the way up. Left hand can come behind your back, bending into that right knee. Inhale back to center. Right forearm to right knee, left arm comes up and over. And we're not sinking in and we're not noodling anything. We're trying to keep everything as strong as possible. And by now your right leg is probably screaming a little bit. Inhale back up to your warrior two. Parallel the feet, so the right foot pivots in, hands on the hips, forward fold. We'll then bring the heels in about 45 degrees, and we're gonna rock our hips side to side, lifting up each foot. So we rock our hips to the right, and the left toes lift up towards the ceiling. Rock to the right, or rock to the left, and the right toes lift. You know, something like that. Good. Come back to parallel the feet. Bring your hands to your hips, come all the way up through a flat back. And we'll step back to the front of our mat. Checking in here. Notice how you feel. We're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, side bend, left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bend the knees and fold. Inhale to a halfway lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands down, step back into your plank. Inhale here. Exhale, tilt forward onto the toes and lower all the way to the floor. We're gonna roll over onto our backs. And I think I'm gonna be sideways here. I'm gonna move my mat a little bit. We're gonna lay on our backs and grab your block. We're gonna place the block between the knees. And we're extending our legs up towards the sky here. Feet are flexed. And we're going to bring our feet over our face. So we're contracting our abs to lift our tailbone off the floor. And then release. I'm kind of crooked on my mat here. Sending the legs up towards the ceiling. We're going to lift the tailbone off the floor and then release. And we'll do 3 more. Lift the tailbone off the floor and then release. Lift the tailbone off the floor and release. And last one, lift it off the floor and release. So you put your feet back on the floor and you can windshield wiper the knees and remove your block for a moment. So knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. We're gonna reach for our block. We're gonna put the block in each hand here, each side of the block. And we're going to lift the head, neck, and the upper back off the floor, reaching our block like we're gonna hand it to somebody above us. And lower down. We'll reach up. Hand the block off here. And lower down. And 3 more. Lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. And last one, lift. And if you can hold and breathe. And lower. You can windshield wiper the knees. You can take kind of a twist here a little bit, side to side. We're going to place the block between the knees. And our hands can be kind of under our hips a little bit. But we're going to bring the knees, or actually the hands can be out to a T. You're going to bring the knees over to one side, almost touch the floor. Maybe you do touch the floor. And lift them back to center. Knees to the left. And back to center. Let's do 3 more on each side. Knees to the right. And center. Left. And center. 2 more. Right. And center. Left. And center. Last one. Right. Center. Left. Center. Good. We'll place the block down. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. We don't go top of our mat. Okay. You can leave it here. Or now if rotating the hip out, rotating the knee out is uncomfortable, just pull the right or the left knee in towards the chest. Anybody can do this one. Like so, if you just opt for this one, that's great. If you want to, another variation is to have the ankle over the knee and the left knee is pushed away from the body. Another option is to reach behind the right thigh. You're kind of hugging the right knee in towards the chest with the left ankle flex on top of it. You can straighten the right leg. We're going to lower the right leg all the way down, holding onto the left foot. We're going to place the left foot against the inner right thigh and lay down for a moment here. This is a reclining tree pose. Take any arm variation that you want. So the left knee is pointed out to the left. Everything is kind of hugging in towards the midline. So your left foot is pressing into your right thigh. And then we'll bring the left knee up and the right knee. We'll place the right ankle over the left knee. Or you can bring just the right knee in. So either one, whichever. One compresses more of the hip flexor area and the other one kind of gets a little bit deeper into the side of the hip joint. So work with what kind of works with your body. Don't compromise. You know, do what you need to do. You can be here, you can push the right thigh away. Another option is to reach from the back of the left thigh, kind of pull that left thigh in towards your chest, flexing the right foot or right ankle. You can extend the left leg. And then we'll place the left leg down on the floor with the right foot in the left thigh, right knee pointing out to the right, and take any arm variation you want on this side. But everything is pressing in towards the midline, so it's still like we're still working even though we're laying down. Granted, we just take the balance part out of the equation. Okay, we'll put the right foot back on the floor, bend the left knee, have the foot on the floor, and we're going to lift the hips for a supported bridge. Now, if you don't want to do supported bridge or you don't have a block and you just want to lift the hips and do a regular bridge, you can do that. The supported bridge actually kind of makes the lower back feel a little bit more comfortable, but you don't maybe get all of the action in the glutes. So if you're going to use a block, you lift your hips, place it at the waistband of your pants, and you can roll your upper arms under. So there's only just a minimal toning of the glutes here. If you want to tighten the backs of your legs a little bit, maybe you can pull the heels towards your hips. Another isometric movement. Now, if you want to do it without the block, you roll your upper arm bones under, you can reach for the opposite hand. There's a significantly more toning of the glutes in this one. This needs a little bit more glute action in this one to stay up. So I like the benefits of the supported bridge myself. Still with the upper arms under. And then if you have the block and you want to do a supported shoulder stand or legs up the wall, you can lift your legs up. And here, if your legs are up, you can take ankle rolls. You can point and flex the feet. And then when we finally do lower down, kind of nice to take one leg at a time to come down. Help support yourself. We'll now bring our hips to the left of our mat and let both knees fall to the right. I think I did that backwards, but that's okay. If you want to increase this stretch, you would turn to look over your left shoulder. You can cross the legs and lay them back down. Want to keep the shoulders on the floor. If your shoulders lift, maybe the twist is a little too tight, and you can press the place a block underneath your knees. We'll bring our knees back to center, our hips back to the center of the mat. You can hug the knees in, rock side to side. And then we'll bring our hips to the right and let our knees fall to the left. You can gaze over the right shoulder if you want. You can cross the knees, cross at the knees. Pretty much if you find yourself being really uncomfortable or clenching somewhere. So like me, I know I've gone too far if I start to clench my jaw excessively. So I'm creating more tension, and we want to kind of reduce the tension here if we can. We'll start to untwist. Bring the knees back to the center. You can rock them side to side. You can bring them in towards the chest and rock side to side. You can take any movements that you want to kind of set up for your final relaxation pose. And we're actually going to do a little bit of pranayama, kind of like mental pranayama here in our final relaxation pose. So get as comfortable as you can. You can have your arms out at your side, even having your palms up facing the ceiling or sky. I want you to imagine that your open right palm kind of sucks in air. So you're breathing in air through your right palm. The breath travels all the way up your right arm into your right nostril, maybe up to your forehead. And then on the exhale, it travels down your left nostril, down your left arm, and out through your left fingertips. When you inhale again, you inhale through the left side, up the hand, arm, up to the nostril. Exhale the right side. So exhale down the right arm, out through the right fingertips. And you can even open the hand as you're breathing out, and as you're breathing in, and the other hand would close. So inhale through the right, close the right hand, exhale through the left, open the left hand. Inhale left side, close the left hand, exhale right, open the right hand. Inhale right, close the right hand, exhale left. So keep going on your own. You can use the hands or you can leave them alone. You can just leave them. And the next time that you exhale through the left side, you just come back to your normal breath. Allow your body to soften and relax. Start to move the body here, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Make a fist and curl the toes, spread the fingers and the toes wide. And start to gently rock the head side to side. Make bigger movements, wrist and ankle rolls, or a big stretch. We're going to roll over to one side and gently and slowly push ourselves up to a seated position. And we'll bring our hands to our heart. And we'll thank ourselves for practicing together this afternoon, evening. Still not sure what to call it. And we will have a massive brain cramp, right? So may we all feel loved, grateful, and connected. in spite of all the brain cramps, and may we overcome any obstacles before us. From my heart to your heart, peace and namaste. Thank you, everyone. I'll crawl over here and hit the record, stop recording.